SpaceX's Starbase facility in Texas is a hub of constant innovation and activity. The team is consistently working on Starship, the largest rocket ever built, conducting new tests nearly every day. And today we have some exhilarating news about the much-anticipated second launch of Starship that you won't want to miss. But before we dive into the details, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop for all future updates about this groundbreaking upcoming launch. September set us on an emotional roller coaster, didn't it? We were all buzzing with anticipation as SpaceX fully stacked Starship for what seemed like an imminent launch. With the launch window set between September 8th and 13th, it felt like the future of space travel was just a countdown away. However, the sudden denial of a launch license by the FAA was a harsh reality check, leading SpaceX to destack Starship and leaving us to lower our expectations. SpaceX once again stacked Starship at their Starbase facility in Texas. Yet the wait continued, as the FAA's approval remained pending, making us all wonder what it would take to see this spacecraft take its next giant leap. Enter October, and it feels like the winds are finally changing. SpaceX itself has injected a dose of optimism into the narrative with their recent tweet. Starship stacked at Starbase ahead of flight. Team continues to work with the FAA on a launch license. Now that's a beacon of hope if there ever was one. The optimism for October is not a one-sided affair, it's actually mutual. The Federal Aviation Administration itself has expressed a positive outlook, stating that they are optimistic about granting SpaceX the much-needed launch license for Starship by the end of October. Let's remember that this isn't just another launch. Starship is billed as the most powerful launch vehicle ever constructed. And let's not gloss over the fact that its orbital test flight in April didn't go according to plan. The rocket exploded over the Gulf of Mexico, grounding it for months and putting SpaceX back to the drawing board. An event of that magnitude could have been a deal-breaker for many, but for SpaceX it was an opportunity to iterate and refine, to ensure that the next time Starship lifts off, it does so with greater assurance of success. And it's not just SpaceX that's optimistic about this month. The FAA itself is sharing in that optimism. The FAA says it could potentially clear Starship for takeoff by the end of October. Following that April incident, the FAA required SpaceX to implement over 60 corrective actions to obtain a new license. Hence, the FAA's current hopeful outlook is not to be taken lightly. It signals a mutual trust that the issues leading to that deal-breaker of an event have been effectively addressed. And let's be honest, securing the FAA's nod isn't just a matter of routine procedure. Following the setback in September, Musk didn't mince words. He took to Twitter to vent his frustrations, declaring, "That is unacceptable. It is absurd that SpaceX can build a giant rocket faster than they can shuffle paperwork." Musk's Twitter comments resonated with many who are keenly following the space race. It has sparked public discourse, making people question if regulatory frameworks are in tune with the rapid strides being made in the space industry. In fact, the relationship between the FAA and SpaceX has had its ups and downs for a long time. Right from the start, the FAA has given SpaceX fines for not following some rules. This shows how hard it is to balance between trying new things in space and keeping everyone safe. Back in 2020, another disagreement popped up. SpaceX wanted to test their Starship rocket at higher altitudes, but the FAA said they broke some safety rules. They started looking into what happened, highlighting the ongoing struggle between moving quickly with new technology and making sure everything is safe. Remember how frustrating it was waiting for the first Starship launch on April 20th? The FAA took so long to give SpaceX the green light that people almost lost focus on how amazing the rocket itself is. And it looks like history is repeating itself. Musk has been pretty open about how annoyed he is with the slow pace of the FAA's approvals. He feels like technology is moving fast, but the FAA is holding things back. Now, it's crucial to remember that safety is really important, but big projects like Starship also need room to make mistakes and learn from them. When we're doing something as amazing as space travel, every small mistake helps us learn something new. The current version of Starship is an engineering wonder. It's taller than a 30-story building and can carry tons of cargo or 100 people into space. And SpaceX is already thinking about making an even better version of Starship in the future. Don't forget, Musk is the man making all of this happen. He's not just busy with SpaceX, he's also running Tesla, Twitter, The Boring Company, and more. And guess what? He's doing a great job at all of it, maybe even better than some people who are only running one company. It's clear that Musk has big plans for our future, and he's got the skills to make them happen. Looking to the future, SpaceX's game plan is crystal clear. With a workforce of over 2,000 at Starbase, their overarching objective is to make Starship the go-to spacecraft for space logistics. Essentially, they aim to establish a moon-to-Mars supply chain. The dream is big, but then again, SpaceX has never been known for thinking small. Still, beyond satisfying FAA requirements, an impending review from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service aims to examine the environmental repercussions of the Starship launch. All things considered, SpaceX is a few weeks to a few months away from gaining all necessary federal approvals. Catherine Lutters, the new executive general manager at Starbase, reflected on the learnings from the first launch of April. The main focus is not just on corrective actions, but on community engagement as well. SpaceX is making concerted efforts to be more transparent and build stronger relationships with local communities, discussing everything from healthcare and housing to education. Catherine Lutters encapsulated SpaceX's drive succinctly: build, test, fly, and learn. Her message was unambiguous during her presentation. SpaceX has long-term plans to stay in the Rio Grande Valley, and they intend to be a mainstay in the space industry. Before we conclude, let's spare a moment for India's groundbreaking moon lander and rover, part of the Chandrayaan-3 mission. Despite their extraordinary achievements, including the first-ever measurements of the plasma environment over the moon's south pole, both the lander and the rover have fallen silent and are not responding to ISRO's communications. That's it for today's comprehensive update on SpaceX and space exploration news. Thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more in-depth information on the rockets and missions shaping our journey into space.